G'day guys, it's Will here from Singletrack magazine and singletrackworld.com, and I'm currently in a very sunny Leger in France, here for an event called Bike Connection. Now, as part of Bike Connection, we've been chatting to the Marin guys, and they brought along this brand new bike. It's called the Alpine Trail. Now, the Alpine Trail is a completely new model for Marin. This is a long travel 29er. It's designed as a burly, all-mountain, enduro-capable bike. We've got 150 millimeters of travel on the back, a huge Fox 36 on the front with 160 millimeters of travel, 29-inch wheels, and Marin has built the frame with clearance for 2.6-inch tires, so there's room in here for some pretty meaty rubber. Now, as far as the Marin full suspension lineup goes, this is designed to come underneath the flagship Wolfridge as a cheaper, more accessible aluminium frame all-mountain bike. The suspension design is much simpler. This is a single pivot suspension design with a rocker link activating the rear shock. Marin calls it MULTITRAC. It's a fairly straightforward design, but they've executed it really well on this bike. We've got a trunnion mount between the rocker link and the rear shock, so two bearings on either side of the shock, and that helps to provide a more supple kind of initial stroke, and it is a really smooth suspension design. The shock itself is quite a long stroke as well, it's 65 millimeters, so over the 150 mil of travel you get a really nice low leverage ratio, plenty of shock activity, and in general the rear suspension on this bike is really very good. Frame itself, we've got nice burly hydroformed aluminium tubes, big chunky pivot junctions as well, seal bearings throughout too. So it isn't the lightest bike, but it is designed to be a really tough, versatile bike for day in, day out riding. The spec on here is quite eclectic, I would say. So some components that you might not always see. We've got tyres from V-Rubber. These are the Flow Snap tyres, which are 2.6 inches wide. Very toothy, very meaty tyres. The brakes actually come from TRP. These are the Slate T4. So they use a 4-piston caliper to provide a little bit more power than TRP's 2-piston brakes. To be honest, I haven't found them to be particularly powerful. I have tested these brakes before and they provide really good modulation. The lever reach dial is nice and easy to adjust, but not a huge amount of gut-churning power. And to be honest, because this is quite a long travel 29er and it's got a bit of weight to it as well, it can really fly downhill. And I have found on a few occasions wanting more powerful brakes than what come on here. I do quite like the deity handlebar and stem. That's a nice touch and something you don't always see on stock bikes as well. Underneath the saddle we have a KS Lev dropper post with the excellent Southpaw remote lever too. Now, I've been riding this for the last couple of days in Leger, and you can read my first impressions on singletrackworld.com. Early impressions of this bike are very, very positive. It's a really nice ride, really stable, great suspension, nothing odd about the way it handles. There's nothing weird or funky about the rear suspension, no handling quirks, at least that I've uncovered anyway, and it's given me a lot of confidence on some pretty rooty trails that we've been riding here in Leger. So far I've really enjoyed riding this bike. As I said, jump on singletrackworld.com for my first impressions of this new bike from Marin and to find out all the details of the brand new Alpine Trail. Thanks guys, tooroo.